We know about this defense. We know about gap coat. We hear it every game, multiple games. The announcers, they're going to have it. The managers, they're going to put that little baby gappy go up every single time they get 3 stops in a row. You get 7 of those. That's a gap. We know the rules now. We know the rules. Other teams know the rules. They're probably tired of that damn go. But guess what? Until y'all find a way to stop it, maybe that's too damn bad.
Thanks for listening to KC Sports Network, proudly presented by Emprise Bank. If you're thinking about starting a business or know someone who is, check out Emprise Bank's SBA loans. It's always good to know your options, and they can be your partner in possible.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Run It Back. I am your host, Jazsmin Halliburton, coming back at you. I know it's been a minute, but damn it, your girl need a vacation. That's exactly what she was on for the winter break. And just like K-State women's basketball fashion, she's coming back a happy woman because right now, K-State, at the moment, number 12 in the country. I expect hopefully by the time this episode comes out, they better be top 10, gosh darn it, or else I'm going to be knocking on some doors, okay? But in the meantime, in between time, I won't get angry about something that ain't happened yet, okay? But right now, K-State, number 12 in the country. They are 3-0 in the Big 12, undefeated. They just had a road ranked victory over number 22 Utah, who is recently ranked after wrapping up some pretty big wins so far in the season. First off, getting a win against Notre Dame. How about that? And then they were able to get a win on the road against a very good, we know how familiar we are with them, Iowa State. Okay, they were able to swing that win just before this game against K-State. That was last night. So, K-State women's basketball, I say it every episode, and I'm going to keep saying it every episode until it is no longer true. And that might be a long, long time, God willing. They're the best team in Manhattan. The best team in Manhattan. Say what you will, and I know y'all have about K-State men's basketball, but K-State women's basketball, Lady Cats, the best damn team in the hat right now. And they've been that. They've been that. The real new. And now I'm going to need more people. Come on over. Come on over to this side. Because a lot of teams that's going to be coming to Bramlage this year, I mean, y'all got to be that 6 man. We saw it a little bit last year with all these people coming through in Bramlage when the women's were playing. Hell, this team is a lot better than the team last year. In my unprofessional opinion, they are. So when y'all being the way that you are, that I've seen y'all be at Bramlage, I'm just saying, there's not many things that'll be able to be a block in the road if y'all are there going to be supporting this team. You feel me? But I'm saying my spiel. I'm going to get into it because I'm talking about how they making me happy. They putting a smile on this face after a nice, much needed vacation. What they're able to do at the top of the Big 12 right now. For now, I guess undefeated for sure in conference play. They're now actually 4-0 in conference. Correction from earlier when I said 3-0. They wiping people up right now. You feel me? So, of course, I'm going to get to this game against Utah, number 22 Utah. I'm going to give you the final score, too, because I'm going to let y'all know the dominance. The dominance. K-State wins 71-47. On the road in Utah. A Utah team that averages 81 points a game. They scored what? What was it, Jazsmin? What? 47. 47 points. We know about this defense. We know about gap coat. We hear it every game, multiple games. The announcers, they're going to have it. The managers, they're going to put that little baby gappy go up every single time they get 3 stops in a row. You get 7 of those. That's a gap. We know the rules now. We know the rules. Other teams know the rules. They're probably tired of that damn go. But guess what? Until y'all find a way to stop it, maybe that's too damn bad. That's too damn bad because this defense is doing exactly what it needs to do. Okay, K-State held Utah to 30% shooting from the field, 16% shooting from 3. Mind you, this is a team that makes 10 threes a game. They only made 3 against this K-State defense. All right, they will get 90% from the free throw, 34 rebounds, 11 turnovers, and 6 steals. Those were all Utah stats. All right. Let me get to the ladies. Let me get to Lady Cats right here. 49% from the field. That's about their average. I want to say their national average. I want to say I think 50 or 51% from the field. leading nationally in that category. 47% from three. That's something that we haven't been seeing necessarily the past couple games in Big 12 play so far. I'm also going to get to that a little bit later. Free throws wasn't exactly the best. They've been really, really good the past couple games in the Big 12. They've improved their free throw percentage because that's something that was always a little bit of a weakness for this team that has a lot of strengths. K-State out-rebounded Utah 41 to their 34. K-State a little bit messy on the turnovers, had a little bit of messy the past couple games so far in Big 12 play with the turnovers. That's nothing that I would be necessarily too worried about going into the future, but that's still something that you need to circle about. And they had 7 steals against Utah. Those were K-State stats, all right? Then I'm going to be reading what's going on with the players who's just leading this thing the whole way. Let's start with Harina Sundell, because she is her. She is exactly the player that we all knew that she would develop into when we saw her as a freshman. Her assists speak for themselves. We already know she had this game with 5 assists. She had 15 points to go with it. Yoki, she had 14 points, 6 boards, 2 blocks. Mind you, this is a Yoki that has not had a whole lot of playing time just yet. She had 17 minutes of playing time. I know last week, I think against Texas Tech, she had under 20 minutes of playing time, I think, in that one as well. Still in the game with double digits. That's been a theme, not only obviously in Big 12 play, but that's been a theme all season long so far. She hasn't gotten a whole lot of minutes. I know that's because you have a lot more depth. You're able to protect her a little bit more. She get in a foul trouble just a little bit more. Sure, she'll get maybe like, say, 2 fouls halfway through the second quarter. Of course, you got to bench her in because you don't want her to pick up a third just before halftime. This, that, the third. We all know how that works. In years past, that's a problem. In years present, that's not really a problem because we have Amani Lester and we have Kennedy Taylor getting the job done. Okay. And I'm going to give a shout out to Eliza Maupin too. She getting her minutes in those situations as well. Right. So clearly Yoki very, very dominant when she's able to be on the floor. Offense changes, defense changes, this, that, and the third. Everyone knows the business when she is on the floor. She's able to get these double-digit scoring games with very few minutes on the floor. Now, is that going to be something consistent as we get deeper into conference play? When we get into the postseason, hopefully a deep run in the postseason? Honestly, I don't know. You got to, at that point, I feel like you have to have her on the floor for at least over 20 minutes once you get at that point of the season. But right now, they're winning because that's what they got. That's the skills that they have, and those are adjustments that teams have just not made yet on how to take advantage, true advantage when she's not on the floor. They haven't been able to figure that art out yet compared to years past, right? So that's Yoki stats: 14.6 rebounds, 2 blocks. Okay, Jalen Glenn. Clap, clap, get a double-double in this piece. 11 points, 10 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 blocks. Oh, Jalen, girl, you was on one. We've seen her. She knows this is a team where everybody knows they roll. Everybody knows they roll. And her role is 3 and deep. She knocking down threes. I think she's going to average at least 3 makes, if not 4 makes a game already. And you know the type of defense she's able to play, moving her feet, jumping past the lane. This is not nothing new when we're talking about Jalen Glenn. She led the Big 12 in steals, 2 seasons ago. She's not new to this. She's true to this. We've been knew that. She's able to get a double-double. She's able to get into the paint. She was able to do that a lot, I think, against Texas Tech. Just show that you can crash out on me as much as you want, trying to contest my 3-point shot. But whoop, I'm gonna just drive it to the basket and have you get the shot fake. You know what I mean? Like, this is development that we're still able to see. We know she was a good 3-point shooter last year. We know she's a good defensive player. Now she's even better 3-point shooter this year. And now defenses are, of course, able to read that. But there's a difference between experience. Beforehand, close out on her. Okay, that's something that was able to work. This time, because she's also a 4-year starter, close out on her. She's able to get to the basket easily because, honestly, her first 2 years, she wasn't necessarily a 3-point shooter. She, like I said, she ain't new to this. She's true to this. So that's something that she's just been able to develop really, really good in her role as a 3 and D player that can still kind of expand her game a little bit by getting to the basket, right? And of course, Tamara Poindexter setting the tone early, had a couple of threes. She had 11 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists. And Ziana Walker being the menace that we know that she is. She finished with 8 points and 6 assists. 6 assists, still being able. This is a team. We know about this assist. We know what they do. We know that they lead the nation, number one in the nation. There's a lot of teams in the nation, and they lead them with assists, the 24 a game. Zayna Walker, we know what type of time that she's always on. I know she's not necessarily gonna, give you 10 points a game, this, that, and the third, or always crash the board. She is what you need her to be. She's able to facilitate. You need her to facilitate. That's what she's gonna do. You need her to just guard the other team, one of the other team's best players. That's what she's going to be able to provide. You have her to ball denial for the team's best players or second best players. That's what she's going to be able to do. She's going to get in the way. She's going to get in the way, and she had a really, really good defensive game this one. They won't fully show as many steals or blocks or things like that, but ball denial, being able to, like I said, get in the way, that's something that she's going to be able to do. This team did a lot of very, very good things against Utah, and this is a team that learns from maybe small but mistakes from games past other teams, and they're able to translate it quickly. And this is something I really do like about this team. I'm going to get into all of that in just a minute after the break. But first and foremost, I got to give a shout out to our very own Home Field Apparel. They got all the K-State gear, shirts, hats, hoodies, whatever you need. And if you know somebody that's not a K-State fan and you want to give them a little something, you can go to homefieldapparel.com and they will have all the universities, all the stuff, even some little vintage things, some NASCAR things. They sprinkle a little bit of that in there. Go ahead and go to homefieldapparel.com and we'll be right back on Run It Back.
Looking for tickets for your next event? Tickets for Less is your number one source. Save big on every purchase when you use promo code KCSN at ticketsforless.com.
All right, y'all, welcome back. Now, talking about this win against number 22 Utah, where K-State won 71-47, holding a team that averages 81 points to 47 points, holding a team that averages 10 3-point makes a game with only 3. Something that goes into that, this is a team that we've talked about this before. You've heard it before. This is a team of great length. They are really, really tall. One of the shortest players on the team is Anna Walker. I think she's at 5'11". This team average height is 6'1". A lot of teams don't have that. A lot of teams do not have that. And obviously that's something that goes in defensively. We know that. We've seen that. They're being able to alter shots, just kind of getting to the head of their opponent, saying okay, maybe this is an easy bucket for them, but just because they know the length that K-State has, they think it's an easy bucket. That extra 1 inch, say Serena Sundell has on somebody, oh, there you go. The ball is in the stands. Okay, everybody knows what Yoki's been able to do. I don't know why people still try Yoki, but to each their own, right? We know about the length of this K-State team, right? But there's something that I noticed in this game that I'm pretty sure that they have not really done before. And they're probably just utilizing just their size against Utah, who's obviously not as tall as them, most teams are. But they were posting up Serena Sundell and Tamara Poindexter in this game against Utah. And, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like they have not used anyone outside of the bigs that post up. You use, because of course you have Serena Sundell. She's going to be a mismatch for a lot of guards that goes up against her. And same thing's going to go for Tamara Poindexter, right? But you never see them in the paint back to the basket. I know there was a moment where Serena was posted up underneath the basket. She had a mismatch, of course, with a smaller guard on her, because guard for guard, that's normally going to happen when you're not switching, okay? So, but she had her arm up. She kind of using a post up move, trying to get open. And I know, I forget who passed her the ball, but it was a little bit over her head because they're so used to passing the ball high up to Yoki. So, I mean, that's something that is really new, at least to me, in this offense. And it's going to be really fascinating to see if this is something that Coach Mitty will be doing in the future. Now, I'm not saying they did it a whole lot in this game against Utah. Only saw bits and pieces here and there. Of course, they did it when Yoki was not on the floor, because honestly, why would you? You kind of don't want to muddy up the paint as much as it already is when you have defenses double and triple teaming her. You don't want to muddy up the paint to have that many bodies when there's already a paint with that many bodies, if that made sense at all, right? So this is situations where when I guess Yoki is in foul trouble and you want to send a little bit of a different look outside of, Monty Lester and Katie Taylor, and of course, honorable mention Eliza Maupin when she's, has to play the 5, this real small ball at that point. But I don't know. I'm really interested because I don't think we have really seen that. We haven't had a post up guard since Gabby Gregory. To me, the best post up guard in the country, at least in her 2 years here, because baby, she's one tough cookie. We know that. We've seen that. She's said that. Okay, at least maybe not said that word for word, but talking to her, she's telling me all the bumps and bruises a couple years ago. This, that, and the third, unimportant. But still, them using Serena Sundell and Tamara Poindexter. Now, I don't know if they're ever going to use Jalen Glenn in that situation. Honestly, I think she's more dangerous beyond the 3-point line. We've seen that. Her numbers do show that. But when you're going up against teams that you're going to have a size advantage on, you want to send them a different look? Honestly, I'm not mad at it. I really do like this. This is something that we have not seen yet. Really, no, for sure this season, I don't think, from Coach Mitty. So, hey, snaps. Okay. Now all they have to do is really execute it. Was it the cleanest this game around? No, because I think it's the first time they've used it. It's early. This was game 4. Turn up. That's what I'm talking about. But now that's going to go up to, this team and what they were able to do. Next thing that they did really well, sharing the basketball. That's not new. They lead the nation in assists. I talked about that earlier. In this game, they had 22 assists against Utah. And Serena Sundell, of course, she had 5 assists in this game. Clearly, that's still a lot of assists. She is someone who leads the nation in assists. We know that she's able to do that. She averages 7 assists a game. But now this wasn't a game where she didn't necessarily have to have 7 assists, 8 assists, 9 assists, because you absolutely know she's capable. She had a double-double. She had a triple-double and a double-double in assists. You know the type of time that she's on, right? Dropping dimes. You didn't need her to, drop 7 dimes in this game because you had Zaina Walker be able to contribute with 6 assists. You had Tamara Poindexter assist with 2. Everyone's able to share the basketball. It's not just throwing it into Yoki and letting her make it do what it do, like being top 5 in D1 in field goal percentage, because obviously she's going to make your job easier when you're able to get the ball to her. That's not all it needs to be. We know the type of dangerous team they can be behind the arc. They are averaging 9 made 3-pointers a game. They sling the basketball. I can't say that all of their 3-pointers are open looks, but I'm confident it has to be like 90%. They're usually open looks that they're getting because they have such good ball movement, and obviously because all the attention that Yoki does get when you have double teams, when you have triple teams, obviously that's going to leave some people on the perimeter. That's math. That's literally it. That's math. They're able to swing the ball. They know where the open man is. They give up good shots for great shots, and that's something that they continue to do very, very well, and they did very well in this game. And now something else, talked about defense a little bit earlier. Utah averaged 30% from the field, 16% from 3. Once again, this is a very good 3-point shooting team, but K-State's length is something that's always a problem for every single team. They were sending more double teams in this game. I think their 1v1 defense was a lot better. That was something that we didn't see a whole lot in their first couple games. I know it was Cincinnati first, and I know Houston. We didn't see it as up to par as we've seen it before. Same thing goes against Texas Tech, right? But this is something they were being a little bit more aggressive on defense. I already told you about Zaina Walker, what she's been able to do, the menace that she's able to be. Their perimeter defense, told you about what they average. Utah does. K-State just get in the way. Just get in the way when you're not going to be able to block the shots, because I don't think they had a whole lot of block shots in this game. I want to double check before I lie to you guys. They had 6 block shots, so that's not a bad number. But in shots that, were not blocked, it kind of got into Utah's head. They missed a lot of easy buckets. Utah did. They'll probably tell you that. You watch the game, they missed a lot of easy bunnies. They missed good looks, this, that, and the third. Because of K-State's length is such a problem, it makes them think that, like, oh, I'm in a position to where this player in front of me, Tamara or Serena, obviously Yoki, they're in positions that they can block me. So now I kind of have to alter the ball a little bit, and boom, you airball a layup, we've seen this time and time again before, and this was something else that against Utah that's a really fairly prolific offense. I think they're like what, third in the Big 12 in offensive scoring. Want to double check that too because I changed just to get to the standings for Big 12 basketball. I'm going to double check before I steer you guys wrong. La di da di da. Man, this Big 12 website does suck. If you've been on it, you kind of do know. But you know what? Just because it's taking too long, really good offensive team. You get the point, right? The length. Able to disrupt, able to do all of this, sending more double teams. We've seen this. Every coach is going to circle the length that this K-State team has. And now if they're able to really use it even more so on offense by posting up Tamira Poindexter or Serena Sundell, that bag just got deeper. You feel me? The bag just got deeper, okay? And something else that I do want to highlight because I talked about their past games so far in Big 12 play. They've only had 4. They played Cincinnati, Houston, Texas Tech. Now, Utah, obviously, you have several more games to go. Now, this is something that I think, that K-State is learning and learning a little bit early because now they are a team that is at the top of the list for a lot of these teams to play. They play Houston, bottom of the Big 12, not really that good of a team so far this season. And honestly, for the first half, really, especially the third quarter, Houston gave all K-State could really handle. They really, really did. This is a team that they were dominating in the first half. Houston was able to cut the deficit down, I think, to 10. And then it ended up being a tie game in the fourth because Houston outscored K-State 24-14. And I was watching this game at home over my winter break. I'm like, what the hell is going on? This is a team that's not very good. One, why are we tied with them? Why do they have the lead? And that was a game where K-State ended up beating them by 20. We know they have the abilities. You blink once, you snap. This is a team that they're already up by double digits. So they know what's up. But this is something that they're going to see like, okay, teams are going to play us a little bit harder because they want to be the ones that can knock our heads off, essentially. And great teams who are used to that kind of power, they're able to handle that. Able to handle every team's, best punch because that's something that they see consistently. K-State's not exactly there yet, but they're learning, and they think they learned a little bit last year because those are sometimes games to where it was closer in the end than they wanted it to be, or maybe they've lost. Like that 120, they were a number 2 in the country, and I think Oklahoma, they were undefeated. They were number 2 in the country, and I think Oklahoma was the one who was able to knock them off in Norman, right? So this is something that's learned, okay? And so what happened when they've learned that they got Houston's best shot? They were outscored 24-14 in the third quarter, still ended up winning that game by a lot. What happened next game against Texas Tech, okay? This was another close game at the half. They were only up 6 points out of the half to start the third quarter. They ended the third with a 20 outscoring Texas Tech 29-8. They weren't going to let that happen again. Life changed on the Red Raiders quick. Only down 6 points to a really good team on the road. What the hell happened? Now they're down by 20 points again. That's the kind of thing they learn their lesson. Same thing goes against Utah. Utah cut it down to single digits at halftime, and then K-State came out the third quarter and outscored them 26-13. Okay, now does it make me just not maybe uncomfortable, but smidge nervous that these teams that, of course, K-State is clearly better than, and we already know double-digit wins over, but when they get really large leads, especially early on the game, the Ops kind of go on a little bit of a run, close gaps, more than likely go into halftime with a little bit of confidence. We've seen that three games in a row, for sure. 3 games in a row. So that's something that I think they'll probably get better on. I know Coach Mitty gives some talking tos at halftime because he rarely changes anything at a halftime. He just said, get back to the plan, execute the plan. They do that. Look what happens. They go on these runs to get out of halftime and puts them in really good positions, right? So that's one of those things. They learn their lessons very, very quickly. It doesn't take multiple games for them to learn their lessons, for sure. It takes one or takes very few. Okay. Another thing, this team knows how to play in multiple different ways. Okay. The three ball not falling. This is a team that averaged over 9 3-point makes a game, right? So far in conference play, three ball wasn't really falling all that much for real, for real. I think what? When their three is not falling, what are you able to do? Touch paint. Touch paint. They've been able to outscore these teams in the paint these past few games, right? Against Houston, they only made what? 4 3-pointers. Once again, a team that averages 9. What did they do? They outscored them 42-26 in the paint. Texas Tech, same thing goes. They only had 3 3-pointers made. What do? Outscore them 44-26 in the paint. And now in this game against Utah, three ball was opening up a little bit more. It was opening up a little bit more. They had 8 3-pointers made on what 30 or actually no. Or yeah, they had 8 3-pointers made on 17 shots. Okay, now that's getting a little bit more to their level of expertise, but still, this is something they dominated with 40 points in the paint compared to Utah's 30 points in the paint. This is something that they're able to exploit. You able to be able to score in those two ways and still have some people that know how to make mid-range game. Yoki showing off her mid-range, Serena Sundell showing her mid-range. You have Zy Walker showing off her mid-range. Everyone has that in their bag. This is a team that can win in multiple different ways. So this is a team that can and should scare you. You have to be on your P's and Q's when you come up against this team, right? And now I know it's early. Things can change. Teams will adjust, but so will K-State. You know what I mean? So will they. I just told you what they're able to learn and learn quickly about, because this is a very experienced team that has played a lot of basketball. All right. And up next, they're still on the road. They go up against BYU on Saturday, a team that kind of put us a little bit against the ropes last season, but that was one of those games without Yoki that, in my personal opinion, that I think Yoki would have dominated in if she was healthy. But still, it was a dub at home against BYU last season, and now they're going to be on the road. The elevation is a little bit different, but they seem just fine against the youth. And now they're going to see how they fare against the Cougars on Saturday. But until then, I'm going to give you some updates on that game when we come back next week. But I thank y'all for joining me and thank y'all for being patient after I was gone on that much needed vacation. But until then, I will see y'all next week.